Welcome back here, 2016 NCPA College Championships. I'm Matty Marshall alongside Todd Martinez. Next game coming at you here, second game of the day. Going to be the Drexel Dragons taking on the Fresno State Bulldogs. So we'll see here. Drexel and Fresno, two teams that have been playing in the college paintball championships for a while now. Can't wait to see what they bring this year. And Fresno State, obviously the only team representing California here, so got a little soft spot in my heart for Fresno State.
And they lost some of their good guys. Remember we saw the year where Boothby was out there dominating, Deans, but they do have Venegas is back, Alex Henley is back. So we're going to see some of the guys that have been out here for Fresno State past couple years. But some new pickups. Looks like a lot of fresh names out here. Cervantes, Wynn, Valeros, Stephen Lopes. Stephen Lopes used to play with Sacramento Excessive quite a few years back now. Played with at a young age, played at a high level.
Well, and Fresno State does have, when we talk about franchises that have been around for a while, one of the franchises that's not here but has done very well at the NCPA before in the championship matches is Long Beach. So no Long Beach here. So Fresno, again, the lone California team, going to have to hold it down, and we'll see what Drexel has to bring as well. Drexel has a massive roster. It's a huge roster.
Yeah.
They have 13 guys on their team. So no one should be getting too winded from Drexel, because they have a ton of bodies to draw from here. And there's a decent amount of paintball you have to play at these championships, these weekends. You're talking about 10 minutes per half, and playing multiple games. And we've seen over the years, remember Chris Tregarthen? He had counted up, he played, I can't remember how many points it was, I might butcher the total a little bit here, but it was something like 150 points that he played in one weekend, and he broke his hand. Remember, he broke his hand and continued to play with a broken hand. And it was a legit broken hand. It wasn't like slightly cracked a bone. No, he broke the bone behind his pinky in half and wrapped it up and played with it. And I think they won that year. So, lots of paintball to be played out here. You're looking.
Well, this event has been dominated by Florida teams over the past several years. Last year, we had FAU win. The year before that was University of Central Florida, UCF. Before that was Florida Gulf Coast. And I think the year before that was another Florida team, a different one. No, Long Beach, I think, might have won before that. So the past 3 years have been Florida teams. So let's see about what's going to happen this year. We're off to a start here. First thing in the morning on Friday. Lots of paintball to be played. Drexel taking on Fresno State. Fresno State losing one body off the get over here on the Dorito or Snake side. Filtering out two bodies split on each side for Fresno State. Drexel pushing the Snake side, getting into Snake 1.
Yeah, you're looking at the Drexel player on your screen here in the Snake. And Drexel, that is Brandon Clement. So Clement here in the Snake right now and talking it up, listening to his coach. You got a player right beside him too. I like the body language we're seeing from Clement. Getting set here to come out. No one's on the tape though. Doesn't really have anybody shoot. Looking at the back line there for the Bulldogs as the Bulldogs lose a body. And now we're looking at the back line still for the Bulldogs.
Yeah, they lose Alexander Henley over there off the Dorito side. They're going to lose a body out of the middle right now. He's going to get his gun taken.
Todd, looks like Clement able to get up to Snake 2. He's going to keep going, goes to Snake 3 there, and has to tuck in immediately, gets shot cross field. He should have gone a little lower. If he had just crawled around on the outside and stayed low. When there's no one in front of you, no one in the back bunker, stay low. Go around and get into that position. It looks like his teammate immediately gets right in behind him, and it's Bothwell. William Bothwell is in there taking Clement's spot. Yeah, looking pretty good right now for Drexel, Todd.
I think there's only one body left for Fresno State. Venegas got pulled and stuck in the box for one of his teammates. So just that Dorito over there as Drexel is coming from all sides. And Rothwell going to put that last shot in on Nakamura over there on the Dorito side. So first point going to go to Drexel as Bothwell runs in that flag. So a little bit of a slow start here for Fresno. Drexel shooting the first body on the break, then filtering down the Snake. And there you see Clement getting into the 50, getting picked off, but strong presence for the Snake side early for Drexel.
Absolutely, and you can see there the pressure being put on that player because of the position that Drexel had. They had body coming up on the D side. I really like the tag team over here just in that first point, Clement and Bothwell over here on the Snake side. Let's check in. Lauren Kelly looks like she's down in the Drexel pit.
Thanks, Maddie. I am down in the Drexel pit. Now, interesting fact, they have not played Class A since 2010. Coming into this match, they said that this was going to be the match they get the jitters out because they were feeling the pressure. But as you saw, they're playing really strong. They've had a fantastic season so far, getting 2 firsts and a third playing Class A. So we'll see if they can keep this up and keep the lead. Back to you guys.
2 firsts and a third, not too shabby. Yeah, I mean, it's good that Drexel back in the Class A. Again, Class A is the simulating the X-ball format here, and a little bit of a throwback to the original X-ball format. You have a penalty box, you have halves. There's no mercy rule. It's kind of that OG version of paintball.
My favorite pie.
Yeah, that was brought out. Originally in 2003 was the first year of the X-ball format as we transitioned from 10-man paintball, 10-on-10, to this current 5-on-5 that we've seen since 2003, and that's why it's always one of the reasons it's cool to come down and check out the NCPA tournaments and see these guys playing a little bit more OG version of the game. And yeah, so it's good to see. And Drexel looks good. I can see just immediately in that first point the calm, methodical nature of their moves. I mean, even when Clement got taken out of the Snake, Bothwell didn't miss a beat. He knew where everybody was, got right into that spot, and he just picked up the slack. And if you want a Snake side like this, if you have the tag team ability, 2 players playing really well, it's going to be tough to beat you. And they had tons of penetration over on the D side as well, too.
Absolutely. Here comes Stephen Lopes on the break, getting out here to the Snake side tower. Looks like Drexel's going to lose one body going out on the Dorito side, but Clement comes to the Snake side corner. Drexel loses another body. They got Rothwell up in the middle. 1 in the back center, 1 in the W, and 1 in the Snake side corner. There you see Rothwell on your screen. Clement makes a move out of that corner, gets into Snake 1. Stephen Lopes still going heads up with him. Fresno State with bodies. They're going to fill out over here onto the Snake side. Lopes looking to make a move. He jumps into Snake 1. Mirrors up with Clement.
Yeah, Lopes in good field position here now, and for Fresno State, he's really got to worry about that player in the center for Drexel, though. That's the guy that he's going to be locked in a gunfight with. You can see there the player from Drexel. It's dead center of your screen at the big wall bunker, 50-yard line in the center of the field. Oh, and he gets that shot on him. Nice work by Lopes.
Fresno State loses another body out of that back center. Clement makes a move for Drexel out of Snake 1 into Snake 2. He's going to load up, get a check by the referee.
Fresno State about to get out of that box here in about 5 seconds. And it looks like he wants to go towards the Snake side. And then just as he's about to come out of the box, another major penalty.
Nakamura getting a major penalty, getting Henley pulled.
I was just about to say, good job as a little do-si-do. Lopes runs through and trades out with, that was Clement again over here. No, yeah, it was Clement. So Lopes goes and trades out with Clement. They almost hit each other. And just as Todd, as I was about to say, hey, good job of Fresno State to burn that penalty off, another major penalty pulled on them.
Literally the second that the penalty came off, we got another major.
Yeah, I look up and I'm waiting to see if he makes it out. First of all, which side is he going to go, and then does he make it out clean? And as I look up to see him, as he's getting ready to go with the second left, see another major red flag in the air. Tough break for Fresno State.
Yeah, both coming over there. Definitely hurting him. So
let's look at this Snake battle here. There goes Clement. Clement jumps up, runs the highway, and then immediately guns up on Lopes because then Lopes tried to get the drop on him. He saw him go the highway. That's when Lopes comes out, and then Clement has to cut back in, close the gap a little bit just to make sure he puts paint on Lopes. A nice little Snake battle there. 6 minutes and 6 seconds to go here in the first half of this matchup. Drexel and Fresno State. And pretty much the story of the day so far has been penalties. Tons of penalties called in that first match, all on Liberty. And they still won convincingly, though, so that's going to look good for them as they progress, even though they got tons of penalties. But right now, Fresno State down too early.
Yeah, and no, not minor penalties, major penalties. Just red flags being thrown this morning. But sometimes the referee's got to come out here and set the tone. It's early. A lot of, like these teams are saying, people got the jitters. They're playing teams out of their class. They're stepping in a new class, coming back up. Which is another thing that's really cool about the NCPA is that, sometimes there's always problems with whether it be funding or having the amount of enough people. Like we've seen teams show up to this event with 6 guys, and play the event with 6 guys and play in the upper division. Some teams,
Long Beach, like we were just talking about, came
some teams
down
don't
a bunch
have
of bodies.
They don't have teams that are players that have experience, right? So they have to develop these players. They may have a bunch of freshmen come in. They start down in the lower division, and then by the time everybody's seniors, they're playing up here, in the high division. And it's nice to see, and it's nice to be able to go back and forth and really develop your players.
Well, that's a tough thing to kind of keep the franchise going, though. I mean, you're talking about some of the teams that have been really successful over years, like the Huskies, Penn State, all the Florida teams. It goes in waves. It's just like any other college sport. It's hard to replace guys that are, your solid ones, your first attackers. You hope to God that somebody really good ends up enrolling at your school and you can pick them up that first year.
Yeah, it's just nice to be able to develop these players and put them in the right class so that the overall league can be better. So, looks like Fresno State still down that body,
but
shoots a couple on the break and then makes a big move up the center.
But doing good again right here, down bodies. I mean, they've started these past 2 points before and look really solid. Let's hope that they do not get another penalty. If you're a Fresno State fan right now, if you're Drexel, you're thinking, hey man, we started this 5-on-4 but lost a bunch of bodies. Now just 2 players left alive for Drexel. So it is 3-on-2 right now, and then another Drexel body coming off. And that was Steven Calabro. So Calabro takes the early walk, leaving just 1 player left alive for Drexel. And Fresno is just trying to burn this penalty clock off. They're hoping to get this guy out here. I mean, if I was Drexel, I would have blown this horn already. Try to preserve that power play on the breakout. What do you think?
Yeah, they have 3 bodies on the field all across the 50s. 1 coming out of the box, might as well blow it. But they're going to let it play out. And now it's a 4-on-1 situation. And Lopes sends a rope in, shoots that last body for Drexel.
I just think that's a mistake for Drexel. As soon as they saw that they were going to lose this point, if it's 3-on-1, you have a very, very small chance of prevailing in that point. I mean, that guy, the last guy left alive, is going to have the point of his paintball career to pull it off and to put a point on the board. So as soon as you have, if the other team still has a penalty, there's about 20, 25 seconds on that penalty left when it got to be a 3-on-1. Blow the horn, concede the point, keep that penalty clock up there, start the next one still up a body.
Yeah, absolutely. Make Fresno State pay for getting that major. And that's what's cool about majors. If you play them right, they stay on the board. You win that point, or you lose a point, they stay in the body. They stay in the box. If it's a minor, the guy comes out, kind of like no harm, no foul. Start back with 5, but.
Well, got about 1:30 to go. Before the start of the next point. Stick with us. Going to take a quick commercial break. Welcome back here, 2016 NCPA National Championships. And Fresno State down by 1 right now against Drexel. The score 2-1, 4 minutes and 12 seconds to go in the first half. And Fresno State, considering that they've gotten 2 major penalties, Todd, not looking too bad in this game.
No, not at all. I mean, they finally got some bodies out over here on the Snake side. They're alive. They're alive over there, but the penalty's definitely hurting them. But definitely getting a good spread out to both sides of the field. Drexel seems like they're making moves a little bit sharper together. Even though Fresno State is, getting a pretty balanced attack on both sides of the field. Steven Lopes has now gotten into that snake side tower on the break twice. Looks like they're going to go heavy guns. 4 guns up on the break. 1 body out wide to the Dorito side from Fresno State. Drexel lining up 4 bodies in that pocket and then stretching 1 body out to that snake side tower. And now Drexel starts to fill out. Steven Lopes getting shot from Fresno State early again. He comes walking off. Fresno State looking to make a bump out here on the snake side as Drexel makes a big move. There you see Clement getting into snake 2. He's got help behind him. Number 21, Bothwell.
Yeah, that's the tag team for Drexel over here that we're probably going to see all tournament long.
Yeah, and Clement and Bothwell really working well as a team together right now. Clement getting into the snake, and nothing is better for a guy that's with his face in the ground than having somebody that's standing up tall, shooting over his head, communicating with him. As Fresno State does not have very much of a presence on the snake side. They try and make a move out. Looks like Venegas makes a move. He does get in wide, but loses 2 bodies behind him, so he's now in the snake tower, mirrored up with Bothwell. Clement gets shot out of the snake from across the field.
Yeah, that leaves a battle here right now between Bothwell and Nakamura.
Just Nakamura over there now on the Dorito side for Fresno State.
Nakamura's trying to push forward. He gets one. There's still 2 bodies left, and Bothwell just has his whole side. Did he get him? I think he missed his shot. He's still alive. So Bothwell can just push forward here and get a little bit more of his back, which is what he does. So, again, nice work by Bothwell to kind of polish things up over here. It's great to have a 2 that has good timing and good field awareness over here on any side of the field. But with the way that you can lose guys in the snake so fast, it's a treacherous spot to play. So when you have a guy like Bothwell's playing right now for Drexel, and you can see he's getting checked out by the referee.
Yeah, he's trying to play that burn the clock, sit in the bunker game right now and make Fresno State blow the horn. I'm not sure if Fresno State realizes what's happening on the field right now, as Cervantes is waiting for an interview with Lauren Kelly. Bothwell's just sitting there behind the mini Dorito.
He's just taking a break. Yeah, now that I think there might have been a flag thrown.
The horn is not blown yet.
Yeah.
Bothwell is sitting there holding the flag, running the time down. I mean, which there's really no point to this right now. I mean, it's only a 1-point game, unless they're scared of playing long points with Fresno State.
Well, it's going to be a 2-point game here as soon as this point's conceded, or Bothwell just goes and hangs that flag. But I guess he's just trying to preserve the legs in this lots of paintball to be played here. So
yeah, man, it's early. Let's play the game.
I agree. Yeah,
what are we doing?
Yeah.
Why are we sitting down? Did you fly all the way out here to sit in the bunker, sit in a little mini Dorito, and
I agree with you.
Play time in the grass.
I agree with you.
Touch putt in the park.
I agree with you, but if Bothwell wasn't playing so well, I mean, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt because he's been doing really some solid work over here for Drexel. I feel you, though. I mean, I agree. We came out here to play some paintball.
Yeah.
It's a little bit too early in the tournament to play the let's wait around game, but looks like let's touch base down with Lauren Kelly. She's in the pits. Lauren, what do you got for us?
Thanks. I am here with Jason Cervantes. He plays with the Fresno State Bulldogs. Now, leading up to this match, you guys didn't perform the way you wanted to at Nationals last year. You said that you had switched up practices. You had a completely different approach to practicing. What did you guys change?
The thing we changed from last year, we really didn't practice as much as we thought we should. We did practices maybe every other weekend, and there was just a lot of guys that didn't have the drive to go out every weekend and practice. This year, though, we're out there from February on, every weekend, out at Air Warriors in Lemoore, just constantly practicing, working on our fundamentals, playing points with the local teams. And then when we get here, we've just been practicing as much as we can. Practiced yesterday. Our best game plan for this layout, try to island off one side, and get down the field and blow up that other side.
All right, thank you so much. We only have 30 seconds and 1:16 left in the game. We'll see if Fresno can get some more points on the board. Back to you guys.
Yeah, I actually got a little message from Lopes before this event happened, said that they had a ton of practice. They had only had 3 practices last year and had like 15 practices leading into this event. Let's check out this replay real quick before we start the next point. So there was that first, that first penalty, or the first body coming off from that side, and so that's that. The first death was Clement, the number 1, the first attacker for Drexel. So here we go, starting this next point, 2 points lead for Drexel right now. Just 1 minute and 7 seconds to go here, and so that was that penalty. 48 seconds left on the Fresno State minor penalty that they got. So penalties, Todd, definitely playing a factor so far today.
Yeah, here comes the exchange in the middle. Looks like they're going to trade out. Looked like he almost had a chance to live as he came in there. As Cervantes came across and bunkered out the Fresno State player in the middle. Drexel losing another body over there off the Dorito side. They have that center Dorito. They got Bothwell again. He's going to come across into the snake from the snake side tower.
Oh, but a major penalty going to be assessed
And that's
on
gonna be
Fresno State. And that's Venegas, Anthony Venegas for Fresno State. So Fresno State getting off to a slow start here because of the penalty bug that they have caught pretty early. And though they did, like we were saying, as I had spoken to Lopes before, and he was saying how prepared they were for this event and how many practices they had got under their belt. Definitely didn't have the reffing, it seemed like, dialed in at their practices. You know, that's another thing that happens a lot when you ref yourselves and things get a little lax out there. I'm always on the side of ref to what you would see at the tournaments. Be strict with your players. If you're reffing each other while you're playing sets, be as strict as possible, because that way you're not unprepared for it when you get to the tournament and you have to then ramp up, you know, your understanding of how the calls are being called by the refs.
It's funny when you practice a team too and you know they're cheating. There was the move right there as Brock got bunkered out. But here comes the referee running in. I'm going to go over there and pull out Venegas with the hit. He's going to get the major. But it's funny when you practice a team and you know they're cheating you, and it's like you don't even want to argue with them because they're just going to deny it. And then they get to the event and they just get blown out. And you're like, yeah, I knew it. Saw you guys. You guys were cheating. Knew you weren't winning. Then they go out there and just get a ton of penalties at the event. It's like cheating. That's only going to translate into penalties when you get here to the event. You know, it's never going to help you get any better.
Well, even when you're doing drills with each other, you know, you're doing those drills and there's always those couple guys on the team. You're like, hey, did I bounce you on the run outs to the corner? Nah, man, you didn't even come close. Nope. Nah, you were shooting behind me. And you're like, I know I bounced that guy.
Yeah.
I saw my other player bounce him 2 sets ago, so that's the thing. I mean, you want to be as tough on each other as you possibly can in practice, then you're not unprepared, as we've seen both Liberty here and Fresno State really struggling with penalties early on. And you know, it's going to cost you. I mean, Fresno State, they don't look bad. They look good when they're playing clean, but just too many penalties right now. But they do have a full second half here to try to come back and stay in this match. But they still have this major penalty they got to fight through right now, and Fresno State getting a bad break. They only have 3 bodies alive, so you know the mistakes are starting to compound here for Fresno State.
Yeah, and they just had 2 bodies trip over each other going up the middle. There you see Lopes in the middle of the field, but is he going to be able to get one? Yeah, looks like he blew that guy apart going to the snake.
Well, if I'm Fresno State, I'm just hoping that we can burn the clock off here. There it goes. Yeah, so burn the clock off and try to get a restart heading in to the second half. Down by 3, though, with the full 10 minutes to go. But still going to have some more time on that clock for that penalty. So a little unfortunate turn of events here for Fresno State to start out their 2016 national championship match. It's frustrating when you hear how well a team is prepared for an event and kind of have high expectations for them coming in. It's pretty frustrating to see them get a ton of penalties and not even really get out there to play a full set of get 5 guys out alive, keep them alive throughout the point, just getting penalties left and right here for Fresno State.
Yeah, it takes you out of your game, because then all you're thinking about is, how do I not get penalties? What are we going to do on the penalty play? And a lot of teams don't even spend the time to prepare a penalty play. You know, they just go out there and be like, I hope we don't get any penalties, and then next thing you're sitting in your pit and you're like, what are we going to do with 4 guys? What are we going to do with 3 guys?
Okay, you run to the stand-up. I'm going to go up to the center. which way should I shoot? Oh, shoot right.
I don't know.
Yeah.
You should, right? So, I mean, it takes you out of your game. You know, you come out here, you get a penalty, guy goes in the box, and it's like, okay, well, what do we do without that guy? That was like our main guy. There's a million things you could go in a ton of different directions.
Yeah.
As soon as you start getting penalties, things start to unfold, come apart, and you're just like,
Yeah. Well, we'll see if they tied it up for the second half. Before we get into that second half, like to touch base with Lauren. Looks like she has Lopes down in the pits for Fresno State.
I am here with Stephen Lopes. Now, you guys got a lot of practice in coming into this Nationals tournament, way more than you did last year, but a lot of your problems are coming from those penalties you're getting on the field. What do you think is causing all of those penalty problems?
We actually had 3 gear penalties and a mask off penalty. So we've been playing pretty clean. We had 1 minor that was for playing, and the rest have been gear malfunctions and a coach with his mask off. That's something we prepared for. Like, we worked on that all the time, keeping our masks down at practice, keeping everything in line. Yesterday we went through all our guns. Everyone was at 10.5. Come to the event, we're chronoing at 12.5, and it's just ridiculous.
All right, well, it's the first match here. You guys are going into the second half, so hopefully you can get some points on the board, tie it up, and take the lead. Stay tuned, guys. We'll have the second half coming up. Thank you.
Even more heartbreaking, listen to Lope.
Pass them around.
The R2 has taken Dye's proven rotor platform, known for years for delivering high-level professional performance, to a new height in paintball loader technology. The R2 gives you the freedom to switch between low and high capacity, allowing for a choice between a 200 and 260 ball capacity at any time, without the need for tools or additional shells. The R2 Reload Alert gives you a progressive alert as you deplete your paint reserve. The Reload Alert system signals you when the R2 is low on paint, and it's time to reload. The patented rotor carousel provides consistently high feed rates, which far exceeds pro requirements, and a re-engineered feed system yields improved feeding reliability. With the active power conservation, the R2 monitors power needs and continuously optimizes the power supply. This active conservation of power makes the loader extremely efficient and provides excellent battery life. The R2 alerts you with a red indicator light when the batteries have reached levels low enough to possibly impede performance. The R2 can be effortlessly broken down for true toolless cleaning and maintenance. The collapsing floor tray gives you the maximum ball capacity while ensuring reliable feeding down to the last ball. And with the highest feed rate on the market, the rotor is certain to keep up with any marker. The R2 benefits from the new rapid release safeguard system. This system allows you to change between a lid and a quick feed at a moment's notice, depending on your playing needs and weather conditions. The Dye R2 loading system, proven technology with new added and upgraded functional features, bringing smart, elegant loader engineering to the game, designed with the player in mind. Welcome back here, 2016 National Collegiate Paintball Association Championships. I'm Matty Marshall with Todd Martinez. What a heartbreaker to listen to Lopes talk us through those penalties. Even worse than I thought, in the sense that they weren't getting playing on penalties, they're getting all these gear penalties, which is really frustrating for that mental focus that you want to kind of bring out here when you keep getting these ticky-tack penalties. But it is what it is. You still have to fight through them. We'll see if Fresno State can do just that. Still, a minute and 28 seconds to go on that major, down by 3.
Yeah, those are definitely easier to shake off than when you have guys running out, getting blown up, and playing on penalties. Because that's angry and frustrating, when you're in there. But that gun thing, it's something stupid, but hey, that's easily fixable.
So now these teams switch sides, and it looks like Nicholas DeMemo up in the center right now for Drexel, and shooting towards that D side of the field, trying to keep Fresno State from progressing up the field. And just as he switches sides and comes off that lane, thus ceding that bunker set to his opponents. So Fresno State in good field position, but they still need to pick him up. Runs right into him and looks like takes him out. And here comes Fresno State on the attack. Lots of Drexel bodies a drop. Just a body left alive. Back corner bunker here on the snake side.
Venegas making that move up the middle. Came to get the middle guy, but he was gone. Ends up in the can. Shoots out that last body out of the snake side corner. And here comes Alexander Henley. Drexel looks like they got a penalty during that point.
Yeah, I don't see it
on the board yet.
I don't see it on the board. So nice work by Venegas. Good, solid, smart play by Lopes over here. He was kind of isolated in that back corner bunker, but just kind of hunkered down, stayed alive, and let his boys on that D side go to work, which is where that point was won for Fresno State. So now Fresno State back in this match, still with 45 seconds left on that major, and that Drexel penalty finally put up there. Let's check out this replay here. So you can see the last player left alive as the body's starting to streak down the field for Fresno. And that's that back corner bunker there for Drexel. Bothwell got stuck back there instead of on the attack, had to play on the defense, but there's nothing he could do. He's looking at too many guns.
Yeah, he definitely had an opportunity to chop up Venegas coming through the middle there too. Definitely would have given him a little bit more breathing room to try and play it out, but unable to pick him up. Fresno State with too many bodies. So now Fresno State only 2 points down, and Drexel going to be playing with 4 bodies off the break here. So let's see if Fresno State can take this opportunity to get back in this game, maybe score a quick point or two after getting all those gun penalties in the first one.
Well, at least, the refs throwing it back a little bit to Drexel on that one. Get a penalty. Did you see what that penalty was on? Penalty for Drexel?
I didn't see who it was on.
Yeah, so it looks like about 45 seconds left on that penalty. But Fresno State showing some signs of life on that D side. Obviously, we know Lopes can play the game. Lopes, a former player for a professional team in Sacramento Excessive, and we know he can play the game. So it's good to see their ones, and the one is that first attack. We call him the one. We call the two. That's the second attacker. The three is the guys that play in the back positions are kind of the last to attack, depending on what happens with the wrecking balls of the front players in front of them. But it's good to see Fresno State kind of a little spark of life here, fighting through that. Again, that when you get those penalties, sometimes the confidence starts to wane. But it's good to see them toughen it up here for the second half. Drexel needs to hold on. Now only a 2-point lead for them.
Well, the guy that I'm looking to, for Fresno State is Alex Henley. He's been here the past couple years with Fresno State. He's been deep in the tournament with his squads before. Fresno State out here right now only starting with 3 bodies. They got 2 in the box, but Henley's got to step up and be a leader. He's been here before. He's the veteran on this team, the upperclassman, if you will.
Yeah, and on the flip side for Drexel, I really like how Clement and Bothwell are playing over here on the snake side of the field. Clement at the 50-yard line right now as a body drops for Fresno, and Drexel's going to get their body out of the box in 10 seconds. But Clement's in a real good field position right now for Drexel.
Lopes just gets eaten trying to come out, break out of his spot and get wide. Here comes Bothwell streaking down the Dorito side, but that last body for Fresno already shot. He's going to wait, go grab the flag as Fresno State's going to come out of that box right now. Are they going to tee off on each other? They will. Henley right there coming out of the box. Goes toe-to-toe from 5 feet away with Bothwell. Lucky not to get a penalty because he shot from within the box. Usually you have to come out of the box before you can shoot your gun. But
Clement looks like the hang's going to be good for him, and that's going to send the Drexel lead up by another one here.
Yeah, so
a 3-point spread in effect. 27 seconds left still on Fresno State's penalty. 7:25 to go here in the second half. Let's check in again with our sideline reporter, Lauren Kelly.
Thanks. Going into that last match, it looked like Fresno was going to have the body advantage, but unfortunately what happened was during the previous point, they failed to have a body in the box to burn off that penalty. So they got another minor, and they still had to serve out that previous major, which caused them to have 2 bodies in the box off the breaks. Back to you.
Good Lord.
Jeez, dude.
Who is your coach over there? Get it together. 7 minutes, 25 to go here. A lot of time left, though, for Fresno State to try to get back, but not if Drexel keeps playing the way they are. I mean, Drexel's playing pretty good. Their off-the-break shots are dialed in. I really like how I'm thinking Clement and Bothwell so far are our best dynamic duo on the snake side of the field for any of the 4 teams we've seen play so far. Obviously, still, tons more paintball to come at you. So a full day of play, essentially, is the next set that's going to be coming is going to be Kennesaw State Owls going to be taking on Connecticut Huskies. The Yukon Huskies, has been around in Class A here and doing well for years. So anytime the Huskies, I'm always interested to see what sort of squad they're going to bring to the Class A championships.
Yeah, Yukon definitely a dedicated school. Always want to be here. Always have a solid, deep roster.
Former national champions themselves.
Yep.
Though that was years ago. So trying to look.
But they've been contenders.
Oh yeah,
they've definitely been contenders here, year after year. The teams around the league are definitely worried about Yukon every time they show up.
It's just been all Florida and Southern California for the past good half decade here. So now on the breakout, See, Drexel kind of with a really conservative break, and they lose 2 bodies off that break. Now just 2 bodies left alive there in the center for them. And so we'll see if Fresno State can capitalize on this, and they're going to get their body back here in 8 seconds. This could really help things out for them.
Which way is he going to go?
Looks like he's going to go snake side. No, he's going to come right into the center.
So Drexel tried to go heavy guns to get a body on the break.
And there goes the move on your screen for Fresno. Oh, but the referee comes in there and pulls out number 51, Garrett Brock. He luckily did not get a penalty, though. Now Lopes is in really good field position here for Fresno. Lopes
gets into the 50 snake, immediately shoots out the Dorito 1 across the field. It's like just 2 bodies left alive. Lopes going to wrap on the back center, get another kill out of the middle. Here comes Venegas up the middle. He's wheeling and dealing, trying to find that last body. It's number 14, Todd Rocher, sitting in the middle, and he can't do anything as Fresno State, with 4 bodies alive, come from all over the field, and Venegas gonna go grab that flag and run it in. It's Fresno State able to burn the time off their penalties, get their guy out of the box, and put a point on the board.
Well, other than Brock dying out of his spot, that was a really good point for Fresno State.
Yeah, it looks like Fresno State's going to get another minor penalty here for their pod guy coming onto the field early. Let's see if the referee decides to hold up on that one or give it to him.
At a certain point, I would start flipping my lid if I was in the pits for Fresno. I would start, hey, if we're getting these gear penalties, these kind of, it's like the ticky-tack penalties. Pod guy comes out too early. We don't have our guns shooting the right BPS, balls per second.
Yeah, you lift your mask before you come off the field.
Yeah, just really easy stuff to fix. Let's check out this replay. So we're watching this point get closed out. There's Lopes and the snake on the left-hand side. Last body coming off for Drexel. And you could see that cross-field spread. Again, so the point I was trying to make is that it looked really good there. And there's Lopes making his move into the snake. Is with 4 bodies alive in that point for Fresno State, Todd.
Yeah.
That's if you're the coach for them or fan, that's what you want to see. Again, the only mistake they made was Brock dying out of his bunker in that point. But now getting another penalty, I think for their pod guy coming out too early is just kind of constantly just throwing hurdles in front of themselves to try to jump over, making it as hard as possible on themselves.
Yeah.
I mean, paintball's hard enough as it is.
Rule number 1 is don't beat yourself. Always. Rule number 1, don't beat yourself. And that is what Fresno State is doing right now. They are just kicking each other in the face before they walk out onto the field.
Well, that's what I'm saying. But, Lopes looked really calm and composed when Lauren was interviewing him before we went to half. But, at a certain point, somebody's got to get a little intense over there and be like, hey, tighten it. I'd start screaming at guys and be like, look, tighten it up. We flew all the way out here to try to win this tournament. We didn't go to 15 practices before this event to lose games because we can't keep our masks on and because, the guy we brought to pick the pods up is trying to get out there a little too early. Just easily fixable stuff.
Yeah.
So it looks like a timeout being called here. A 2-point game. Drexel 5, Fresno State 3. We got 6 minutes still on the clock here in the second half. We're going to be right back. Stick with us. And we are back. 2016 NCPA championships. Right now, the story, if you're just joining us, has been Fresno State getting a slew of penalties to put themselves in a bad spot. Down by 2 against a Drexel team, Todd, that I think came to play this tournament looking real sharp out there. One of the early favorites here if they can continue this aggressive onslaught that we've seen. Obviously, getting some breaks here from Fresno with those penalties, though.
Yeah, definitely helping them a lot, but looking solid over here on the snake side nonetheless, with Bothwell and Clement really attacking the snake side hard and working well as a team. But you're absolutely right, Fresno State doing themselves no favors, but 6 minutes left, still a 2-point game. Let's see if Fresno State has it in them to try and make a comeback here.
Fresno State conservative breakout and leaning out in the open area, catching another major penalty. Disaster strikes. Venegas out in the open, gets domed up, gets a headshot, continues to roll his gun, and that's, you you gotta stop doing that if you want to try to win games out here.
Yeah, Maddie, at the same time, Drexel's Clement goes to that little kick. He gets a major penalty.
So that evens the scales here. And now running up into that center, Brock for Fresno, and Drexel's already up in there. Brock's looking for him. Brock's going to come around. They're going to run into each other, and a little bit of contact there,
Brock,
which is legal, and they are both eliminated, though.
Brock had the opportunity to go get him clean and live, and decided to come around the opposite side. Players need to be smart and use those temples.
Well, Todd, it looked like when that battle was going down in the center, I think Fresno lost another body. I think that was Lopes that came off over here on the snake side at the same time, and they lose another body out of their bunker. It's just, mistakes are really starting to set in right now for Fresno State. And Drexel, though, I'm looking across field. I only see one body, I think, left alive for them.
Yeah, that body over there is the guy. He actually caught a bounce back in that first Dorito, then won his gunfight straight up with Henley, and now he's the last body left alive with Lopes walking off. So he doesn't realize it, but he's the only body left alive on the field. If he makes his move slow, Drexel's going to get their body out first. I think the rest of the team is screaming to him that he's the only guy there. So Fresno State's going to blow the horn. That ended up being number 12, Ian Kinarney. And there he is right there, number 12 on your screen. The last remaining soldier out there for Drexel, as they're going to get another point. Both teams have a major. Fresno State, minute 31. Drexel, 39 seconds left on their major. So check out this replay.
So we're looking at the replay here as Drexel doubles up that center, trying to see where that penalty comes from. As we were looking over at the penalty, another penalty on Fresno. And then you could see, the penalty.
He looked at it.
Was that Clement? Yeah, that was Brandon Clement. So Brandon not helping his team out. And then number 21, Bothwell, who's been another star for their team, goes and cleans out Brock out of that center. But Fresno also had got a penalty, a major. So 39 seconds on the penalty for Drexel and a minute and 31 on the penalty right now for Fresno State with about 4:20 to go. It is possible, and we've seen, this is again the same layout we saw at the Dallas NXL event. So you can score some quick points on this particular layout. I think about 12 seconds was the record, but Fresno State just cannot stay out of that penalty box. So if we can, let's get another look at the penalty for Fresno State. So as we saw, 2 penalties, one on each team there, and there's that penalty on Venegas, who caught
Lopes pulled.
So it was Lopes that got pulled. There was another body came off, so Lopes had to go to the box.
This time can't be right on the penalty then, because that happened on the break. There's no way Fresno State had.
They fixed it, yeah. So 35 seconds on Fresno's penalty, 39 on Drexel's penalty. So we'll see what happens here. Both teams going to be starting with 4. 8 seconds to go before the start of this point.
All right, so there you see the 4 bodies for Drexel on the breakout. On your right side of the screen, going into that snake tower, the blue can. Over there on the snake side, going up the middle to that mini Dorito and the Dorito 2. Jacob Cerna getting in the game right there on your screen and quickly leaving with that face full of paint. 28 come walking off the field. There goes Anthony Venegas. He gets walk off by Drexel himself. Just 2 bodies left alive now for Fresno State. They're in that Dorito side tower and the Dorito 2.
Now trying to reposition here, spread the field out a little bit, and they get a body repositioned at the wrong time though. Just kind of took Lopes' spot. So Lopes gets shot trying to get into a bunker already taken by his teammate, and here comes the attack from Drexel. Makes a move up in the center, also getting to the 50-yard line over here on the snake side.
Yeah, Leon gets into the 50 snake right now, immediately wraps on that back center, shoots Brock to bits, and Henley with nowhere to go over there, and that Dorito too gets chopped up. So another point for Drexel. They're pouring it on right now. Yeah, they get their body out of the box as well.
So Lamb getting a spin for Drexel and getting it done. Same with Leonig over here on the snake side. So Drexel getting, again, there's 13 guys on the roster getting some of those fresh legs out there, and they're winning this point too. Depth is huge. If you can have some depth coming to this event with as much paintball as you have to play in these 3 days, really going to help things out. Fresno just can't. Anytime they get things started, they get penalties. And Drexel has just been a better team so far here in this first game.
Well, definitely take advantage of those opportunities. You know, anytime a team's going to throw 5 penalties your way, you know, that's just a giant gift floating from the sky for you just to accept. And, you know,
the paintball gift angels just descend from the sky and give you a nice big fat win for the first one. Let's check in with Lauren Kelly down in the pits.
Thanks. This match has been extremely penalty-ridden. That gross penalty was on Brandon Clement for Drexel. What happened was he was shot in the leg. The ref called him over, and as he was walking over to the ref, he got shot on the inside of his gun, so he got an obvious hit. He will be sitting out for the rest of the match. Back to you guys.
I don't think I've ever seen two paintball jail sentences back to back like this before.
Yeah, first 2 games here, the refs are on it. Hey, if you're playing at this tournament and you're checking into the webcast right now, play as clean as you can, and also have everything to make sure your guns are shooting at the right BPS. So yeah, another paintball jail sentence handed out. You can see the replay. Was that Clement?
No, that wasn't Clement right there.
Yeah, so we get over here. Yeah, so we didn't quite catch that gross major, but there goes one, gets polished off, his Brock gets taken out, another body coming off. Yeah, Fresno State just struggling here.
Brock and Henley going off at the same time for Fresno State. There's Stephen Lopes on your screen. If they're going to do well out here, they need him to get going on this snake side. He's got to be out at a spot alive.
We need some help too.
Get into, get some help over here with him. But here he goes all the way to the snake on the break. He makes it in there alive, but his back guy gets shot. That's Venegas gets shot on the break. Looks like Drexel's going to get a minor penalty. I think I saw the yellow flag go. So they're going to lose 2 bodies right away. Nope, another major for Drexel. So Drexel in the box. Lopes now at the 50 snake. Drexel loses the body out of the back center. Just 2 bodies left alive for them. 1 in the back center, 1 in Dorito 1. Brock up at the 50.
So this is what Fresno State wanted. A major on Drexel with just under 3 minutes to go. Fresno needs to close this one out as quick as possible. Try to get that point spread down a little bit here, as there's Lopes rolling his gun towards that last player left alive for Drexel. It needs to close this one out quick though. They know there's only 1 body left alive. They need to preserve this power play that they're going to be on.
And the time, there's only 2:25 left to go. They need to play with a sense of urgency right now.
They just kind of jogging that one in. You know, I mean, they're down by 3 now. They were down by 4 with, again, like Todd, like you said, where is the sense of urgency? It was there. I mean, they weren't hiding in their bunkers, but knowing that you have to score 4 points with not a lot of time left. I mean, now they're in a situation where they're going to have to start maybe doing double center moves off the break and then getting those bodies out wide.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have the opportunity with Drexel getting that major. Here you see Lopes. You know, all he had to do was go another knuckle down in the snake and he would have torn that guy's back apart. Instead, he stopped, shot, loaded, jumped over the snake, went to the next bunker. You know, either it's a lack of communication and you don't know where the bodies are, or you just don't have that sense of urgency. But, you know, Stephen Lopes should know. You know, I would definitely hold him responsible for knowing what's going on over here on the snake side of the field, and, you know, knowing the clock awareness. But you know, you had Brock over there. You know, the guys in front of him got to see the bodies walk off. Somebody's got to see bodies walk off. Somebody's got to call it out. But, you know, after everything that has happened here, it's still a close game. You know, it's still
relatively close. 3 points. Well, what we're going to see is some entertaining action right here because there is no choice for Fresno State. They have to push aggressively. They don't have much time left, and that's when you utilize those creative plays you can come up with. Seeing this layout before, as we saw it played many points in Dallas, what do you think is the best aggressive game plan for them right now, having to score 3 points with not a lot of time left?
Well, I like with the big W going up there on the break, and you know, just from the 2 points or the 2 matches that we watched so far this morning, I feel like that Dorito side's the faster side. If you get up to that center W, you can lock off the snake side and keep people from really moving up the field. But there's so many short bumps over there on that Dorito side, and those 2 temples on the just off the side of the W. You know, the pins, the 2 big Doritos. I think there's a lot of moves to be made really quickly over there. So, you know, yeah, it is a 3-point game, but I think that this could be a fast field, and I think you can win some 30-second points if you really put your foot to the gas and, you know, execute. So
it looks like Fresno State's going to call a timeout to talk over that play and see which one they're going to go with. And there's Lopes, Stephen Lopes on your screen, rocking that XSV, excessive headband from his former team, now defunct, but legendary pro team. He's kind of there in the last gasp of that squad, getting some good experience and trying to help out his college right now. But Fresno State, when they head into their remaining matches, I mean, they need to have a really good meeting here and talk about, hey, look, we've got to tighten things up here. We can't have these little penalties affecting us. Let's check in with Lauren Kelly.
Going into this next point, Fresno actually seems pretty calm. They said 3 points ain't nothing, and they feel really confident that they can get these 3 points in 2 minutes and 19 seconds. Of course, they're trying to tighten up those little mistakes that they've been making, but now that they have all 5 bodies live off the break, they think that they can get this at least tied up and try to take the lead. Back to you.
I'd like to see it.
Yo, we saw tons of clutch out of this team before. You know, Michael Boothby would hike up his white pants, Deans would tie up his fast shoes, and you know, they'd be off to the snake side, you know, really looking to make that quick push. You know, this team, you know, the culture that this team is, that we've seen from them over the past few years, is a never give up, clutch, attacking team.
West Coast offense.
That's what I'm talking about. You know, Drexel over here playing with the lead. They just need to play smart, tighten it up, not get any penalties, and just be alive in their bunkers and just try and tick those seconds off one by one.
Well, unfortunately for Drexel, they have played outstanding to just kind of piece up Fresno State, obviously getting some help with those penalties, but they don't have Clement. Clement, one of their stars here on this snake side, getting that gross major, still going to be out for the remainder of this match, so we're not going to see him out there. And still starting down a body here. So now so fighting fire with fire. Drexel sending 2 bodies up in the center, going to run around, take one out. And it looks like he might have caught one. Yep, he's going to come off too.
Oh man, I don't like that move for Fresno State. See the bodies go up there, go get him right away. Don't let him come for you.
Well, this is taking time.
Now I guess Cervantes is in there, but here comes Henley. This is what I was looking for out of Henley, charging down that Dorito side. Gets 2 on the move.
Well, he clears everybody out, so Lopes needs to get up on his feet right now. There's no one in front of him, and close this point out here to pull within 2 and save some time and some of that penalty.
Yeah, and it looks like Henley drew another penalty on Drexel on his move.
Well, Lopes needs to just go and run the flag himself. When Lopes stood up, he was yelling at his, I think it was Venegas there in the center, so Venegas is going to try to sprint that flag in. But Lopes should have just, once he knew all the bodies were dead, he should have jumped over because he's fast, grabbed that flag and ran it in himself.
Yeah, nice move there by Henley, though. Part of that clutch team coming through, making that move. And I think Drexel's going to get another minor. That minor will come off, though. I didn't see anybody left to pull, though, by the time, so...
Well, if there's no one left to pull, it's a different story, but if it's a minor, it will come off. Minor penalties come off if you lose the point. Stay on if you win. But now Drexel catching the penalty bug themselves a little bit here.
Well, Drexel should still have time on that major, right? Because that major wasn't coming off until 1 minute left in the match. There's about 3:15 on the clock, or 2:15 on the clock and then 1:15 on that major. So they should still have that major, but when the minor was thrown, Henley thought it was on him. There's that move in the middle by Bothwell. And then he got shot in the side by Lopes over on the snake side.
He got bounced, then he got shot on the D side. Anyway, he comes off clean, so no penalty there. And Bothwell's again another one of those stars.
Yeah, but you know, I saw the flag go up. You know, Henley was kind of shaking his head, but they didn't pull anybody from Fresno State. and there was nobody left to pull from Drexel. So see if the referees sort this out, who ends up going into the box with how much time.
Well,
but another opportunity for Fresno State. Nice move with middle, and then countering it with a move down the Dorito side.
Well, next point, same story. Not a lot of time, still down, and Fresno, now I'm wondering, you saw in that last point, even though they were down a body, Drexel sending 2 bodies up into that center and looking out wide, ended up losing the point with some solid play up that D side by Fresno. But now, are they going to do the same thing to try to stop the attack? Because if that does work and you can keep one of those bodies alive, it really slows the attack down of the opposing team. But again, they only have 4 bodies. That's kind of a counter move. It's not the same as trying to get out wide. Yeah, now Drexel starting with 3.
So Drexel just going out to the blue towers and the back center.
But Fresno loses a body. I mean, they couldn't have a better situation here with 5-on-3, but they lose 2 bodies off the break and still have a body up in that center.
Yeah, Brock's up there in the middle, but they did lose 2 bodies going wide. They still have Henley and Lopes. Lopes going to cut to the middle. I don't think they've shot anybody yet, and Drexel's going to get 1 body out. He's going to go running, and he gets picked off.
But Brock gets domed up in Cyclops in that center trying to shoot the body coming out wide. So there's 3 bodies left alive for Drexel. Yeah, 3 bodies all locked in that pocket in the blue back bunkers, and it's going to be up to Lopes to try to make something happen. Lopes just runs right for the flag, though. There's that sense of urgency, but it was just kind of a desperation run, and then Bothwell continuing to play solid. He's definitely one of their all-stars. I like what I'm seeing out of Bothwell. I mean, Clement got that. Clement was dominating over here on the snake side, and that was the duo of Bothwell and Clement snake side. We saw Bothwell, Clement got that gross major, kind of taking him down a notch, hurting his team a little bit, but Bothwell just continuing to do really well for Drexel.
Yeah, Bothwell playing smart, starting that middle, attacking the W, or coming out here on the snake side, backing up Clement. So good first match here by Drexel to give themselves a win. Again, stick around. Coming up next, we got Kennesaw State Owls taking on UConn. Should be a good game as well.
Yeah.
But Fresno State here, story of the match for them is far too many penalties. And Drexel, good execution, capitalizing on the penalties.
Drexel looks dominant. They look good. I know that Fresno got a ton of penalties to make things a little bit easier on them, but if Drexel, they're getting guys up in the center. Their D side's playing pretty well, but that combo of Clement and Bothwell over here on the snake side, if they don't, whatever teams they're playing, if they don't have another 2 stars that are gonna be able to match up and stop them from, and they're just playing smart over here. They're playing aggressive. They're making good moves. They're winning gunfights. They're making it out alive. So we can see here on this replay as the closing moments of that point, just Fresno, you can see there's Lopes on the left-hand side and Brock up there in the center. Brock trying to get that shot on the player moving out wide, just gets Cyclops and has to walk off. So yeah, not looking good. Well, I mean, this game's over. Drexel takes a pretty dominant win, but still 21 seconds to go. We're gonna see another aggressive push by Fresno. Let's check in again with Lauren Kelly.
Thanks, Maddie. After that last point, Drexel started celebrating here in the pit with 21 seconds left. They know they're pretty much going to take this win. Before that last point, going into that last point, they had 3 bodies live off the break. They said they threw a curveball to try to get that win. They did it properly. They won. It looks like they will be taking a win in this first match. Back to you.
Yeah, Drexel, like we've been talking about, they're looking solid. Definitely one of the favorites here. Go on the breakout, look for that aggressive play as they're playing one for pride, and here comes Fresno State. Lopes goes right for the flag, and looks like Brock's still alive though. Brock wheeling and dealing, gets 1, gets 2, rolls up and shoots the last player in the back from 2 feet away.
But they forgot the flag. Lopes was the flag guy, swung and missed on the flag, but kept going, and then nobody went back to get it. They could have had a point. Not really going to make a difference here, but
well, there's that quick point.
Yeah.
So we know it's possible here.
The tri-body, the tri-center move.
Hey, it looked nice. I mean, Lopes went first, took all the shots. Brock on the slight delay, a little slower than Lopes. Big man, and he just went through perfectly. And you always love it when you get to shoot the last guy from just a foot away, right in his back when he's not even looking at you. But no one able to grab that flag. So before we head to a quick break, before we get into this Kennesaw State Owls and Connecticut Huskies match, let's check in with Lauren down in the pits.
Thanks. I am here with Billy Bothwell. Congratulations on winning your first match this weekend. Now, that was a crazy match with so many penalties. Talk to me about this field layout. Are there a lot of bounce shots that are causing those penalties? What do you feel is a huge factor in us seeing so many flags thrown?
I just feel like we haven't been playing with like quality paint for the past few practices, and we've just been like getting picked off in places we shouldn't be, and we're getting clipped, and we're not feeling it. Otherwise, we're trying to get wide, and wasn't really working that well on the snake side. We had to puckle it in. Otherwise, we ended up starting going to the W, and then you start trading bodies. But it was definitely the fact that like we're just not feeling the hits right now. It's still a little warm out. We're up from Philadelphia, so we've been playing in the cold, so we're all used to like shooting rocks at each other. So we get here, it's a new experience.
Well, it seems to be working well for you. Congratulations on that first win. Back to you, Maddie.
Thank you very much, Lauren. Yeah, they looked amazing. Congratulations to the Drexel Dragons taking the victory over the Fresno State Bulldogs. Stick with us. Kennesaw State Owls going to be taking on the Yukon Huskies. We'll be right back after these messages.